This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio, episode 31. Today I got my guest, Piwa. She's a special friend of Nico's, Abel's, Adam's, all of them. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Piwa. Thank you so much for the introduction. No, that's gang, but no. My name is Piwa, and I reside in Chicago, Illinois. I am currently an artist just trying to do my thing here. And I hope you guys tune in and listen to the tunes. The whole gang's tunes, too. I got to shout out.
Yeah, she's just trying to, but she had a couple thousand on her new video, No Fun. So there you guys go. Make sure you go ahead and stream that, and we'll talk about it a little more as we get into it. Before we get into it today, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks. So today we're going to go ahead and talk about bad habits. Man, think about that, right? Bad habits really impact a lot of people, and sometimes you think like, I am my bad habits, right? So as people, we really focus in on like, am I really just this person that's full of bad things? Like, all my flaws, do my flaws make me, or do I make myself? Do I decide to change things, right? Thought about it a lot once you had mentioned it. Piwa had suggested it. She's like, bad habits, that's been on my mind a lot, right? You know, I thought about it. You got artists like Ed Sheeran. He literally made a song called Bad Habits. You know, he says, my bad habits lead to late nights ending alone. Your bad habits will do that to you. Destiny's Child made a song called Bad Habit, where they continue to let the same person into their lives and they just fuck up everything, right? No matter how many chances you give them, they come back and fuck it up. Then you got Usher, another song, Bad Habits. I just can't escape all of these bad habits. And the song's talking about how he keeps fucking up marriages, right? Because he's been in one, two, I don't know if he's had a third one. He just keeps letting all that external shit impact them, right? So go ahead, Piwa, talk about what are your bad habits?
Oh, gosh. That is definitely... like, I stopped and thinking, I'm like, ooh, I brought this up. For what? I feel like a few of my bad habits that I can genuinely admit to saying that I do have is I definitely have a bad habit of, trying to make everything I do kind of perfect. In a way, like, when it comes to, like, kind of, like, songs, when it comes to just artistry, when it comes to just doing things on the daily, where it's, like, I feel like I'm always trying to, like, kind of make things into this form of just, like, better, greater, when something's already good, already great, and things like that, where I just very unnecessarily, like, make that one bad habit of mine where I'm trying to get better at that, for one. Another bad habit, I say I have a bad habit of trying to pamper myself. Not in the pampering sense of like bad habit of that, but more in the sense of like I like to spoil myself when I know I ain't got no type of cash to do so, but I do it regardless. And it could be a good thing, but it's very much not the best thing because it just very much damages my bank account. I think another bad habit I am trying to get through is fucking having those moments of addiction. With one, I'd say I have a bad habit of, I'm not addicted, but I say I have just a bad habit of like smoking on the regular, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, it just calms me down so much when I'm so irritated in the day, especially in the streets of Chicago, where I'm just like, I ain't got that. Going back to my other point of being broke, I do not have the money to keep splurging on that, but we're calm and collected.
It'd be like that out here. So for you, how would you say you control those bad habits?
I feel like I control those bad habits when I kind of stop and realize that, like, hey, I'm human. Like, these things don't have to be bad things half the time. Being a perfectionist just makes me want to work harder. Just keep it at that point of me just wanting to work harder and knowing where I can find a point to like stop and be like, this is the best I've got. Spoiling myself, that's something where I'll be like, I need to moderate myself in regards to finances and stuff, just because I'm a college kid just trying to really like get my foot into the adult world and having my own finances, which is something that, you know, like we all have to go through of just really trying to sit down and be like, hey, you actually got bills and they need to be paid. And smoking, very much doing it in moderation of points where I feel like I can not feel a guilt feeling from it. Because, you know, like smoking when you're happy only, and not like using it to like kind of run from things, if anything. Use it for fun because it's supposed to be fun.
It's like any, I guess, drug, because alcohol is considered a drug, right? The best advice I ever received was don't drink when you're feeling down.
Yeah.
Only drink as an enhancer to make you happy, right? Because if you start to combine those two things, then you depend on it to be your escape from reality, right?
Exactly.
And that's when it becomes a bad habit. So I mean, you got like a good habit. Nah, I'm playing, but
I mean, who doesn't want to light up sometimes? We're calm, collected, like you said. No, but
as long as it's not impacting you terribly financially, you're straight. As you're not harming anybody out here, maybe yourself, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Often I feel like I had stated earlier, we allow ourselves to identify with our flaws, with our bad habits, and those characteristics really become a part of your personality, right? An example personally for me I can think about is like I party a lot. In the summer, I party a lot. Everybody will hit me up and they'll be like, "You're not out this weekend?" "Yeah, I'm out." "Oh, I thought so." Like it's that bad that everybody knows. But as I continue to get older, I look at the moments of like me partying and like getting too fucked up, and I'm like, that was gross. It disgusts me, right? It basically disgusts me to think like, damn, I really did that. And it's all part of your growth. But for me, the question I guess I have is like, how long can you allow yourself to identify with your bad habits before you need to grow out of them, you know?
That's a good one. I'd say that genuinely, like, it just varies from person to person and how people are able to deal with the things that they've done in life, you know, because it's like everybody has something on them, and people deal with those things differently in regards to how you choose to heal from the things that you've done and how you choose to forgive yourself. So I feel like it's those moments where it's just like for myself, where it's like my mentality has just changed in regards to how I see myself, where I feel like I've done something wrong, where I've done something like I feel guilty, or just like bad habits of like, you know, still having that attachment to those bad habits with you, where it's just kind of like I choose to look at those moments of being more like, yo, like, you gotta be easier on yourself on these things because this is life. Like, there's no right or wrong to things. You shouldn't have to think that you have to give yourself a consequence for what you've done. You just need to learn how to heal that for yourself. And that's hard. That's already hard enough of just like a lot of people, because a lot of people can go their whole life with that type of baggage and holding on to things that they've done and not living their life. But if it's you actually take the time to work on how you process, how you heal, like that's something where you can always realize that I'm not the same person I was yesterday, and I'm learning.
So for you, what is that process of healing? What does it look like?
I say my process of healing, I've really gotten into that this year, for one, of just really trying to sit with myself and realize like, what is it that like am I carrying into like every year that's still like with me from like even my childhood and stuff. So that like form of healing usually comes from, you know, getting that out through music. That's the best way for me to do it. I find that a lot of artists, that's how we use music as outlets to reach other people and to just heal ourselves in the process. And just journaling that stuff, writing it down, like that future turns into music, future turns into other art forms, visuals. Just really finding an outlet for yourself is what I've done to like kind of get that stuff out and be like, okay, like shake it off and let's keep going, because this life is so short. We see that every year, every time, where there's just new faces every time that don't follow us into the next year. And so it's like, come on, y'all, like there's so much life to live out there, and we can't just like be carrying around these boulders every time of like things you've done. Yeah. Even though it's like you can't let other people judge you, you have to heal yourself, and you have to be okay with yourself, because you by yourself. So there's that one. You by yourself.
It's crazy that you there's a couple things in there that you mentioned that I want to touch on, right? Not being able to bring everybody with you into every year, right? I just had that conversation. I've been having a lot of conversations with my mom lately. It's funny. But I was talking to her how I feel like everything feels so temporary lately, especially within the past 3 years of college, right? I only did 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Going into my freshman year, right? You know, I got my close friends, the homies that I'm always going to have for life, right? One person that I'm hanging out with constantly, right? I get into, you know, joining an organization. I'm cool with everybody. I'm building relationships, right? And by my sophomore year, you know, you start to see those relationships break up. By junior year, you're kind of like, okay, this is me. I'm on my own. I'm going to figure shit out. And it's just crazy, all those phases that you go through in life where people come and go. It's hard to describe it, right? That it's just like, fuck, it's all temporary.
It sucks. It sucks to stop and think sometimes about that.
Especially because I have graduation coming up, right? That it's like, where the fuck do I go now? My whole goal, my whole purpose for like 21 years has been go to school, finish school.
And now what? Those are those questions a bunch of us 21, 22-year-olds are having.
Now it's like, all right, now I got to work for the rest of my life till I die doing something that I semi-like but don't completely like. And that's not what I want to do, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're trying to make something happen.
Exactly. We're not playing that game, no 9-to-5s.
But it's just one of those things that, you know, like you had mentioned, you know, people are so temporary. And I feel like, you know, speaking of bad habits, I have a bad habit of allowing myself to trust everybody.
Feel that.
Like when I meet new people, I'm skeptical, right? But if I willingly go into something like, okay, you guys are going to be my group, I know you got me, like, and then some people just don't, like, they don't show you what you wanted to see. Their true colors come out over time, and it's like, damn, I just hurt myself. I did it to myself.
That's so too many instances where I feel like we could all just sit and have, like, that recollection of that same moment happening in our lives. Because it's just, like you said, that temporary game where it's like that trust in people you really have. I have the same thing, a lot of trust. And it's just those things where, like, even people will call me out and be like, you got too much trust. Like, you got to realize real world. Where I'm like, oh, I can't live in a world where I trust people? Like, but no, like, that's very much a given quote of just being like, one, that stuff really gets hard to face. Like, as soon as more and more you grow up, the more and more you realize, like you said, like, the same people that you had with you, like, it's like, new characters every season. And some of those characters, like we said, like, don't happen to stick along for, like, the next season and stuff. And it's just like, like, that hurt. And you just kind of have to stop and think just in the way that, like, this is forever. Like, this is how it's going to go for the rest of life. In the sense where it's like, that's something we really do have to get with, of being like, we have to keep on having that moment of one. That's why I say it's so important to be okay with yourself, because it's only yourself forever and ever. Everybody else, like, they got there themselves. I want to say, like, we could sit there and be like, yeah, we have people, of course. Like, I could sit there and be like, my mom is my ride or die. She's not going anywhere. But it's just those moments of really being like, you know, mom's not here with me now, or, like, you know, my homie's not here with me now, but, like, it's okay because I'm okay with myself. And it's just, that's just, like, sucky part of life, of, like, really having to, like, do this alone, but, like, turn it into something where it's, like, I get to be with myself, instead of just, like, oh, like, I'm lonely. It's just because it really gets to you if you really sit there and be like, be your own best friend half the time. But that doesn't mean not let people along with you, because it's like, still make those connections. I still say, still trust people. Still go with your whole heart. It's just those moments where it's like, when things do happen, like, that stuff is real.
Facts. It'd be like that. So going back to it, right? I had another question for you, actually. Do you believe it's beneficial to identify with your bad habits?
That's an interesting one, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, it's good to sit there and be self-aware and be, like, able to be like, yeah, these are my, like, bad habits that I have, like, admitting it to yourself. But it's just ones where it's like, well, if you're admitting these are, like, your bad habits, are you going to do something to change them, or are you just going to let them be bad habits forever for you? Or it's that you could change your mindset to be like, how do you make this bad habit into a good one? Because I say, like, I wouldn't say it's good in my mindset to, like, stick with, like, habits you happen to have that you give off as bad habits, well, that you label yourself as bad habits. Because it's just kind of like, you don't want to do bad to yourself. So it's like if you can recognize it's a bad habit, you can do what it takes to kind of like change those things into a better habit. Yeah. Like I said, like even with like the smoking thing of just being like that was a bad habit before, now it's become something that I'm like, oh, I do this because I want to and I'm happy to do it, and that's just no longer a bad habit. So
I think as artists, though, it really helps you craft something, right? You're crafting a new song, you're crafting a new podcast, you're crafting a new choreography based on the way your habits make you feel. Because those bad habits, they travel with you every single day. And sometimes, you do recognize them. You're able to identify them. And like I said, it's you. That's just who you are. Like, I can tell you most of these podcasts, all the ones that I've related to, is definitely a bad habit. All the podcast topics are kind of negative. Most of them are negative. And that's done with the purpose of Sad Boy Radio, right?
sad boys.
You're being a sad boy. Sad boys for real.
Sad boys forever.
Those bad habits, those bad moments that you have, those moments where you're like, damn, I really fucking hate myself at this point. They create something good. That at the end of the day, it creates something good. And that's why I fall into a battle with myself sometimes where I'm like, damn, if I better myself, I might not have content. If I don't better myself, I'm just going to keep writing podcasts to make me feel better about it. So at the end of the day, like, I'm self-aware. I'm cool. Like, I'm happy with what's being produced. And I've noticed it. I'll give you an example, right? In the summer, I used to always joke around and say, oh, stay toxic.
I love that, though. It's summertime toxic. It's supposed to.
After I made a couple episodes where it's like being toxic, talking about my experiences, I stopped thinking about that shit.
Yeah, you got it off.
Exactly.
You got
Damn, I guess the podcast did help in a way.
Those are those moments, like that release moment of being like, that like when you talk about like that type of content and stuff, because I feel you on that for what, like I said, like I've just been knowing myself for all 21 years of my life of just being able to make sad ass songs. And I love it. Like, I love being able to make those tunes of just being like, oh, like you said, like me feeling like those days of like, this ain't it. Like, I don't want to be here anymore, Put that into the song. The people eat that up because all of us don't want to be here. And so it's just one of those things of finding those relations, because those are the cool parts of like those habits where we do get to turn them into something that's like, hey, like, I don't feel too bad anymore because that was actually a bop. Like, maybe I kind of want to be here. But then, that other day comes again and it's like, okay, I don't want to be here again. Another bop. Cool. So it keeps going. As long as you're like putting it out somewhere where it's like, it's actually helping. It's actually like aiding. At least the fact that you get to put it out to someone else, the podcast, for someone else to hear and be like, hey, I get you. I feel that. And so it's those moments where it's like, you're doing something with that because you are choosing to take these bad habits and turn something cool out of it. So it's those things where it's like, that's where I can relate with you in the sense of like being like, yo, like to not change those bad habits in the sense of like, content. We're here for content. That makes it better. That makes you feel a lot better.
Especially when people reach out and say like, damn, that really hit, like that connected.
Exactly.
It's always like, it always comes in those moments where you're like, damn, like
I needed that.
Yeah, it really does help. And I know you know about that. I know you know about, turning those bad emotions into something good. Like your new video, No Fun. I know that shit did not stem from no happy moments.
Oh my gosh, that video is a total horror moment. And I love it. I love it for the fact that it's genuinely no fun. No fun at all.
So talk about it. What was the inspiration? Obviously, I assume the dentist. You hate the dentist or some shit.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy how that actually, like, the idea of that whole video came about just because a homie of mine since freshman year of college, AJ and Kamicha, he's the director of the video, where he had heard the song No Fun, and he had just literally came up to me one day, and he was just kind of like, you know what? Like, I have an idea for your next video, The Dentist. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect because I hate the dentist. I hate it, and he knows I hate the dentist because there's just moments throughout with the dentist. They just don't. They just always have me feeling some type of way when I'm leaving because I'm like invading my mouth space. It's just too much, and I just hate seeing those tools and all. So AJ, he was just very much like, you know what, like, let's do the whole thing of just like one, really emphasizing no fun, really emphasizing we want to make something that's like hard to see. We want to make something that like genuinely.
The shit was hard to see.
That's the thing. It was hard for my mom to see too. Literally, it's just those moments of like throughout that whole process of like the ideas, like coming to that ending of just all that splatter and blood and gore and ish. And me just like sitting there looking at myself like I'm a full-fledged demon in this moment. Like, I swear I know why my mom is sitting here like, what is my child right now? But no, like I just felt like that just really connected so much with the song because No Fun is just a whole anthem of mine where it's like I felt like this is the song where I get to be like, yo, like I'm so like tired of doing things the way that people want me to do things. Like I'm tired of thinking like I'm supposed to be this sort of way and like you're trying to paint me into something that I'm not. And so here, let me show you that that's no fun. It's not what I'm gonna do. And so it's like we like really place that into the dentist theme of just being like, oh, the dentist, he wants to make my teeth all shiny and clean, but yet like this is a weird ass dentist because he's trying to make me just white and clean wholeheartedly, down to like my eye sockets where it's like they're white, like the color in my eyes even gone. Because they're just like, oh, like, you're all, like, dressed in red. We don't like red. Like, we want white. So that's, like, how we, like, really tried to play in on just, like, even what's going on in the world today of just being like, yo, like, that thing of, like, me being an African artist in America where it's just kind of like, hey, like, you guys have this idea of me or, like, you guys have this idea of how, like, music and pop culture and things like that is supposed to be done. But, like, here I am trying to just do something that I feel like, yo, like I want to put my foot in and just really show that like I'm not here to really play by the books. Me and AJ, like I said, just like really putting in that we're about to show y'all what's going on this year. This is no fun. This is our game. That's it. So that just music video was just a wow moment of just even seeing me just like covered in all that because I'm just looking at myself like that's not me, but that is me, but not me, but not you know.
No, that's dope as fuck. Especially, I love the concept. You know, people trying to make you something that you're not. I've talked about that too. I think I don't know. I lose track of what I've talked about.
There's too much to talk about.
But that's like a concept that not a lot of people talk about, right? Because I feel like a lot of people lose hope and they give up on what they really want to do, who they really want to be. And you could be whatever you want to be. You can obtain whatever you want to attain. It's just really, do you have the drive to do it, right?
Exactly.
You can't let somebody else tell you like, yo, like you're gonna be a carpenter or some shit.
Like I told you earlier, Mom wanted a doctor, a pediatrician. That's what I was supposed to be. And now, like, it's just the whole thing of, like, that's not me. I don't want to be with kids. I love kids, but in the sense of, like, I can't do it. I can't do it forever. I want to have that dedication with my music. And it really is, like, Chicago showed me that more than any other place that I've been in regards to, like, seeing everybody on their drive here, not even just in music, in everything that they do in regards to, like, just seeing everyone in their art forms and their, like, mediums where it's just everybody's really chasing for something and it's what they want, not what other people are like, hey, you're supposed to be doing this. This seems like no, like I'm doing what I want. And it's, you know, it's just that motivation that continues to push me to be like I said, like the people around me, just even finding like Nick in them and just how seeing like with them, they're all about just going in and just really having all those like types of ways to like really have you connected, have you, one, really about to do what you set out here to do. And that's why I feel being here, and that's why it's like, I'm so excited to keep going because I just have that drive as well as, like, everybody around me does to just dominate. Like, Chicago's crazy for that. I know that for one. it's just it's so fun.
Hey, just show your mom the video and be like, look, I got a doctor's mask.
My mom gave in. I will give my mom gave in. She left a little comment on the YouTube video and she went, "I'm so proud." And I was like, she's
you almost
proud.
cried?
I did. I literally tearing out, just like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Because my mom, she is just very much. She's from Zimbabwe. She literally very, very what is the word? She's just really trying to like be in the sense of like trying to raise me well as a Zimbabwean and raise me well in the United States in the same time. So like having those mix of cultures where she's kind of just like, I don't know if this is right, but I believe you. Like, but I'm just gonna like, really put my heart in that like you're doing right. Cause my mom's like the one person out of like all my family where she'll literally be like, you go do what you came to do and kill it. Just do it. Don't listen to anybody. Just do it.
How has having the dual culture impacted you?
It's really something that I find more of a like just a benefit, if anything, in regards to when having like these two cultures be a part of my world, where it kind of makes it hard sometimes, where I'll be like, I sometimes will have problems feeling accepted by the Zimbabwean community and accepted by the American community, because it's like they kind of like will be like, you don't fit in here too much because you weren't here. You were only born. I was only born in Zimbabwe, so they kind of just see me as like a product of the States. And so it's like being here in America where they're like, you're not born here either. You're African. But like still having that moment of being like, yeah, like I'm going to make it known that I'm a part of both of these things. I'm a part of both these cultures. And really like putting my foot down in regards to like just even like things like no fun and stuff. Having my moments of putting my foot down with that, of being like, this is me. This is like, I'm both cultures. I'm very much a part of both of these aspects of my life. And it's just genuinely pushing me farther and further to like really just make a name for myself in both places, of being like, what's to stop me from that one? So I feel like it's I very much value the fact that my mom brought me here to like have that time to understand the culture here, as well as like have my foot in with Zimbabwean culture too.
You Zimbabweans, be on the lookout.
Zim Nation.
Bad habits, they're all over. People got a bad habit of assuming you're not from one culture just because you're not full-fledged. You're not 100% in it. But with that being said, how have your bad habits helped you grow? How do you feel they've helped you grow?
I feel like my bad habits have definitely like set me to be a lot more secure in myself, in the sense of like knowing who I am, even though still like really discovering who I am, as we were like discovering ourselves every day. And so it's this sense of really having those bad habits, and like I said, being able to be like, yo, like these things set me to who I am. They've gotten me to where I've been in regards to like the trials that you go through with facing what you do. And like I said, like even just coming to Chicago, I feel like it's just brought a whole lot of adulting out of me, where it's like I feel like I grew up a lot faster with just being able to deal with those bad habits that I have, and just being able to be like, okay, like there's still bad habits to go, I'm very sure, I know. But it's just the sense of being, I feel like I'm in my zone, in my year of being self-aware and just really noticing like, hey, I'm not gonna be like this forever. Even though I'm very happy with the person I am, I'm so excited to see the person I will be in like a year or 10 years from now and stuff. So it's just those things of like being able to form those bad habits, like we said, and just make something magical with those bad habits.
Man, like I said, this whole podcast, if it weren't for my bad habits, we wouldn't have one. But
If it were for the pussy.
I feel like my biggest bad habit is like personal, comes from like toxic relationships, right? I have a bad habit of fucking liking the chase. I fucking, for some reason, I love the fucking chase. Like I said, someone can hand me a golden platter and I'll be like, are you interested? No? All right, let's go get that one. it just be like that, you know. I don't know. I feel like that's one of the things I'm still navigating. I don't know. I'm sure you've had a toxic relationship. Everybody has, but it's like it's still one of those things that I'm navigating where it's like, all right, how the fuck do I, stop being like this? You know, at what point can I accept good things that are gonna be beneficial for me, understanding like what's gonna be good for me, right? Because I've fallen into the situation like Rotimi. Have you listened to Rotimi?
No, I actually have not.
Actually,
See, put me on. I need to know.
But one of the songs he has that man, it's the toxic anthem. It's called What We Do. And the whole song is him detailing like his toxic relationship and this girl that he's been going out with and the cycle they keep getting trapped in. And that's literally what a bad habit is. It's just a cycle you keep getting trapped in. He tells the girl, like, we fight and fuss and fuck, that's what we do. We break up and then make up, that's just what we do.
I know this song. I'm trying to I can't think of the rhythm, but I know this song.
And it's literally like, damn. Yeah, you're right. Those are the bad habits you fall into. And
genuinely,
I feel like those lyrics describe a bad habit perfectly, right? Because, you break up, then you make up, and, it's just what you do. And as much conflict as you have within yourself, it's still like, I'm going to accept it. I'm going to keep moving, and I'm going to probably fuck somebody else over.
Yeah. No, genuinely, because it really is those habits that really will have you that, like you said, toxic relationships, we've all had them, and it's been that moment of just, like, going back, being fucked over, you fuck them over, then you go back. It's just, like, when will I learn? Will I learn? I don't know. Then you end up learning, and then you find somebody else that's going to start the whole new trend all over again. It's just like, nope, stop. Nope, no more pattern. I need new.
It's almost like, damn, when the fuck does it stop? Like I said earlier, I don't know if I want it to stop. Because if it stops, what content am I going to have?
See, that's the thing. We're so young. And we have so much life. So it's one of those things where it's just genuinely like, who says we have to stop now? Like, let's say, like, I'd say it starts to get played out and not cute anymore when you're in, like, your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, all right, like, you're no longer young. You need to stop.
Yeah.
But this is the toxic era. This is what we're all in. Not me, but y'all stay. Y'all stay safe.
I feel like those experiences, they really do have an impact on you. You think I would have stopped talking about this after the last episode? Did it even matter? No, I'm playing. But yeah, I think that those bad habits, they really do help you grow because with that being said, I have realized the patterns, obviously. I've realized the things that I like, the things that I don't, and I've been able to be more vocal about those things, right? In new relationships that I do build, I feel that I've become more communicative. But at the same time, it's like, I can't figure out, like, what's missing half the time. But it'd be like that.
It's one of those things, like I said, in those moments where you do get caught up in the moment of being like, we're young. We have so much life. We could go through it. And we could just sit here. And it's up until that moment where you can sit there and say for yourself, like, all right, like, I think I'm done. Or maybe I do want to change or something. Then it'll be like, nobody's going to bug you to do it. So it's just kind of like, that's fine. It's only you.
For you, what are some healthy ways to change bad habits that you would suggest to other people?
I would say for you to be able to change, healthy ways that you could be able to change your bad habits, I always say, like, probably the first thing on my mind would be to write about it. I feel like writing about things, even though sometimes it seems corny, like, have yourself something that you can really genuinely look back on, see how, like, these things made you feel, see how, like, these things genuinely, like, had interacted with you, like, how it is that impacts your day-to-day. Do you want to wake up and do it again? Do you not? I said that's, like, the best thing that I usually always go towards in regards to where I feel like I'm getting bad on something. Let me just, like, write about it. Or just talk to somebody. Call somebody. And just talk more about, like, the things that are going on in your life, at least. I'm just being able to, like you said, the whole theme of self-awareness here, of being able to, like, first, like, realize certain things where it's like, like you said, like, it's the first thing of, like, do I want to change it? Do I not want to change it? And if I do want to change it, like, let's talk about it. If I don't want to change it, let's still talk about it. Because it's just things where it's like, where it could just be something that you just try differently within your days that could, like, really just set off with just a conversation to start with, of just trying to stick to things that, like, don't make you comfortable. Even though that's, like, really hard to do for a lot of people. It's just one of those things that it's like we just have to in order to, like, be able to be like, all right, like, I'm trying to get myself together. I'm trying to get right. Or, like I said, not even if you're trying to get right, just talk. People just need to talk more.
I feel that. I mean, shit. That's why we're here.
Exactly. Moments like this. I've been sitting in my room all day, and now I'm just like, oh, I feel so better. So much better.
Let me go talk to somebody about everything that's wrong with me.
Exactly. See, that's what we're here right now. Go ahead.
I mean, I say that everybody needs therapy, to be honest. I think that genuinely everybody needs to go to therapy.
I feel like that is something that really is like a wake-up call for everyone, like this year at least. Maybe like not last year at least, of just being like, therapy. Y'all, we're alone with the hook.
You, with the face, you need it.
Get yourself a therapist. Please. Get some help.
Shit, the sad boys.
But then do you miss out on the chance of being a sad boy if you get help?
I don't know. Sometimes I think about it. I'm like, I genuinely would like to understand, or I genuinely like to hear what a therapist would have to tell me. Like, this is your bad habit. Like, this is what's wrong with you. How do I fix it? Well, there's no real way to fix it. You're just going to have to keep talking to me about it, and eventually you'll understand yourself.
Content. Let us help you understand.
So instead, I'll do it publicly.
There you go. Give me my bags. The racks.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming out. It was a dope conversation. So to close out the show, you know how we do. The artist brings a sentimental item. So for you, Piwa, what is that?
I have my headphones because I am indeed last minute, and my headphones do indeed save my life every day that I am out and about in the streets of Chicago. These help me not speak to people on the streets. Usually sometimes there's not any music playing half the time, and it just gives me a chance to ignore people. I love them.
She does not like people.
I don't, but I do, but I don't.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming out. It was a really dope conversation, and I think that bad habits is something that everybody can reflect on. You gave some really great advice out here.
Thank you guys so much for having me, for one. Forever a sad boy, no matter if we do fix our problems. No, but it was genuinely so cool to come and talk today. Just like, one, my mood in this final season of college just lifted so much from this conversation with you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm glad to hear that. And go ahead and plug your new song, man.
Y'all, go out and check out my new single, No Fun, produced by Shine Nico. Please do check it out. It's a banger. Go ahead, feel like a rock star. Thank you so much.
Definitely a banger. Nico went ham on it. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of alternative music, but this song, it'll get you, bro. Especially the story behind it. I really love it. Once again, thank you, and I really hope to have you back soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again, y'all. Peace.
That'll be it for Sad Boy Radio. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.